I want to get more in depth. I know we touched on Josh Norman a little bit, but basically what he said is true Washington fans are on the road and they're not at home where they boo too much. What was your reaction to him saying that?
Dan Snyder, who stubbornly, wrongly, and offensively refuses to change the racist name of the Washington franchise, to whom I will not refer, bought the team in '99. I was down there in 2002 hosting Around the Horn.
Still cracks me up you were on that show.
When I tell you, I was the original host.
Yeah.
When I tell you that town is a football town, is a professional Washington team football town, I'm talking about when they rehired Joe Gibbs, everyone, from the little old blue-haired lady walking in the street to the cab driver to everyone. You know, D.C. has this cab sharing thing. You can't, this pre-Uber and all this stuff. So you were talking to people constantly. Everyone in town was talking about Gibbs. RFK Stadium was rocking, even when they weren't good. That town was so committed. They didn't care about Jordan coming back for the Wizards. You could hear a pin drop, and they were about a 500 team that year. But the Washington football team, they were committed. What has happened to that fan kind of passion in Washington since Snyder has owned the team? It has steadily dissipated year over year over year. It's a horribly mismanaged franchise, and there are also those turned off by the name, like me. I'm not a Washington fan, but there are Washington fans also turned off.
That may be that you're turned off by the name, but that has nothing to do with the fan base being upset with the team. It has to do with the things that Stephen A. pointed out earlier. It's been, I don't know how many years since they won a playoff game. It's been, I don't know how many years since they won the NFC East. It's been, I don't know how many years since they won 10 games, 11 games in a season.
They're finally good.
Well, Molly, the truth is,
top of the division. They should be excited.
But the fan base can tell this isn't real. This 6-3 thing is the same thing they've been used to for quite some time, which is hovering around average, slightly above, slightly below. 7-9, 8-8, 9-7. They're used to that, and they're out on that. It's understandable.
You're absolutely right. It's the up and down nature of the Washington Redskins. It's the fact that they've been mired in football purgatory pretty much for a very, very long time. When you were winning championships with the Hogs and Riggins and Joe Gibbs as the coach and what have you, and Ark Monk and those boys as your wide receivers and all of this stuff. And then you go to the level of ineptitude that we have witnessed from them over the last 20-plus years. That's a problem. And I got news for you, Max. I understand how you feel about their name and how offensive it is. I assure you, with every Washington Redskins fan I've encountered, they don't care.
Many do not, but some do.
They don't care, and I'm quite sure. I'm certainly not going to accuse the Native American community of not caring. I'm saying outside of the Native American community, I haven't encountered anybody that has said to me, I can't stand the Redskins because of their name. I haven't encountered anybody. Now, it's not like I'm meeting everybody, and Lord knows I meet enough people. But the point that I'm trying to make to you is I haven't encountered anyone that said that's the reason they have negative.
But every study suggests the vast majority of Native Americans are also not offended by the name.
Those studies are deeply flawed, and we can get into that another time. Deeply flawed.
All of them are deeply flawed. All of them.
Yes, the studies that I've seen, they're
Annenberg, every one of them.
Correct.
You've got it, but the flawed studies are wrong.
Will, correct. Why, when I show up to a Native American reservation to
your anecdotal evidence is more overwhelming than studies. I got that.
To work a fight, and are they unsolicited presenting me with like feathers and for saying this on TV?
Throw out the data, Max, has talked to some people.
Why would that be? Right. Well, when you actually look at the studies and see tribe affiliation, et cetera, then it changes the answers tremendously. And there's a lot of articles that have come out about that too, Will, which you're aware of, I'm sure. It's not so much that I'm saying, Stephen A., we're not going to watch Washington or support them because of the name. It is more indicative of a poorly run franchise. It's the reason Dan Snyder came in and he doesn't want to be told anything. He thinks he knows. The Hainsworth signing, for example, was that the kind of signing that typically winds up working out in the NFL?
Yeah, but your
or
argument goes out the window, Max, when I say the same thing about the Dallas Cowboys, but they're America's team. In other words, we could talk to the ineptitude of the franchise and how it's been run, the decisions that Jerry Jones has made, how his ego has gotten away, et cetera, but they're still worth $5 billion. They're America's team. They got the largest fan base of anybody, et cetera, et cetera. The very things that you're using as a rationale to explain whatever the booing is on a part a Redskins fan or what Josh Norman was complaining about is the same things I've been lamenting about the Dallas Cowboys, yet they have a strong fan base.
Well, the Dallas Cowboys, for all the mediocrity that you've been correct about for 20 years, have been better than the Redskins.
Yeah. By the way, Will, I would suggest you go to a reservation and use that word on the reservation. See where that gets you. If you don't
I can
think
only
it's an
tell you what the
offensive
data
term.
says, Max.
Okay,
I can only
but
tell
you
you what the
wouldn't
data
do that,
says.
would you?
Listen, all I know is the name makes me
My
uncomfortable.
personal choice has nothing to do with what the data
But why
suggests
wouldn't you
Native
do that?
Americans
Why
want.
wouldn't you do that in a place with Native
Just
Americans?
answer me this: why are the Washington Redskins the most popular team among Native Americans?
It's a very
Why is that?
simple question.
I would be happy to do that.
Actually, I wasn't telling y'all to stop. I was telling y'all to keep going. But I mean, I'm sorry. I'm just saying. That's
Name
what
makes me
I was telling y'all to do. Keep going. I was interested in hearing
always
this.
good to see you.
You know, that's what I'm saying.